Welcome once again to Keep on Learning TV. My name is Teacher Nirenganya Manuel. We are going to start geography, but don't forget to subscribe, to like, to give comments so that we can improve our teaching and learning practice. So let's start by topic of today, which is weather and climate. But we shall not discuss about all this topic of weather and climate, but our intention of today is about the following. So we shall be looking at the definition of atmosphere, layers of atmosphere, ozone layer and their importance, causes of ozone layer destruction, effects of ozone layer destruction, the ways or the measures that can be put in place to protect ozone layer from destruction, problems caused by thunderstorm and lightning, effects or problem they are like effects, measures that can be put in place so as we can protect ourselves from thunderstorm and lightning. We shall also be looking at the weather forecasting, traditional methods of weather forecasting, and even the importance of weather forecasting. Without losing too much time, let's start by defining the term atmosphere. When you talk of atmosphere, is a layer of gases and tiny particles that surround the earth, meaning that all kind of gases that surround the earth are referred to as atmosphere. It means you cannot touch atmosphere since it's a kind of a gas. So we are also going to look at different layers of atmosphere with their characteristics. So the layers of atmosphere, starting from the ground, atmosphere is made of 4 layers. But let's start by layer number 1, which is called troposphere. A troposphere is the first layer of atmosphere. We are going to see different characteristics that make up this troposphere. Characteristics number 1. Troposphere, it is the lowest layer of atmosphere. That is number 1. Number 2, it contains all water vapor. Means that all water vapor are found in troposphere. Number 3, it extends from the ground at 8 km at pole and 18 km at equator. Meaning that when you are in polar region, the layer that covered by this, the area that covered by this from the ground upwards, the covered by 8 km at polar region, that occupy the space of troposphere. And when you reach in equatorial region, from the ground upwards, it must cover 18 km. That is characteristics. Next, characteristics of troposphere. Next, weather and climates events take place here, meaning that weather and climates events takes place in troposphere, not in any other layer of atmosphere. So troposphere is separated from stratosphere by the zone named as troposphere, meaning that troposphere and stratosphere is separated by the 2 layers. Troposphere and stratosphere are separated by the layer called tropopause. Next, it is the closest layer of atmosphere to the ground, meaning that it is the layer that is near or that is near to the ground. Next, those are main characteristics of troposphere. Those are main characteristics of troposphere. Let's go to layer number 2. Layer number 2 is named as stratosphere. Characteristics number 1. It contains ozone layer, meaning that ozone layer is found in stratosphere. Number 2, it is the second layer of atmosphere. As I have said above, first layer is named as troposphere. Therefore, the second layer is stratosphere. Next, it has no water vapor. As we mentioned above, we have said that water vapor are found in troposphere. Therefore, you cannot find any water vapor in stratosphere. Next, it extends at 50 km above the ground. The distance that can help you to reach in stratosphere is that from the ground you can walk for 50 km from the ground. Let's go to layer number 3, which is named as mesosphere. Mesosphere is as the third layer of atmosphere. We are going to be looking at their characteristics. Number 1, it extends at an altitude of 80 to 85 km. Number 2, it is the coldest layer of atmosphere. Number 3, it is separated from thermosphere by mesopause. It means that this mesosphere is separated from thermosphere by the zone called mesopause. Next, burns up meteors, meaning that the meteors are burns up in mesosphere. Let's go to thermosphere as the fourth layer of atmosphere. It is the fourth layer of atmosphere. Number 2, it contains ions. Before looking at the importance of atmosphere, let's talk about temperature change in those layers of atmosphere. Let's look at layer number 1. Layer number 1, temperature in troposphere. Temperature decreases with an increase in altitude, meaning that when you go up to 100 meters, temperature will decrease to 0.6 degrees Celsius, which is named as environmental lapse rate or normal lapse rate. But when you go to stratosphere, temperature increases with an increase in altitude. So such point is also referred to as temperature inversion. So if you look at a question asking what is meant by the term temperature inversion, make sure that you recognize that temperature inversion is an environmental situation where an increase in altitude led to the increase in temperature. And this temperature inversion may take place in this stratosphere. Next, about mesosphere, the temperature also decreases with an increase in altitude. It is the same as that of troposphere. Let's go to thermosphere. In thermosphere also, temperature increases with an increase in altitude. It is the same case to that of stratosphere. Therefore, those are main layers of atmosphere with their characteristics. Let's go to point number 2, which is the importance of atmosphere. The importance of atmosphere. We are going to see how atmosphere is very important, is significant to living things. Let's start by importance number 1. Ozone layer protect living things from harmful ultraviolet layer of the sun, meaning that since ozone layer is found in the second layer of atmosphere, which is called the stratosphere, that ozone layer protects living things from harmful ultraviolet, which can cause to their death. Otherwise, without having this ozone layer, human being or living things would suffer from ultraviolet solar radiation, which is harmful to those living things. Next, characteristic importance number 2, oxygen is very important for human being breathing, meaning that Atmosphere also contains oxygen that people and animals use for breathing. Number 3, another importance of atmosphere, nitrogen, which is found in atmosphere and reach the soil and contribute to the growth of vegetation. Meaning that since atmosphere contains nitrogen, this nitrogen can enrich the soil, which can help plant to grow well in that soil. Atmosphere is also a means of transportation, meaning that atmosphere it's provide a way where we can carry out our transport, for example like air transport. Next, atmosphere serves as a shield protective shield against radiation and cosmic rays. It means the atmosphere it reduces solar radiation, because this solar radiation can be harmful to human being. Atmosphere also regulates temperature or heat during the day and the night, meaning that without having atmosphere, the heats on the surface of the earth would be high, which can be a very big problem to human being. Atmosphere provides precipitation that help to sustain our life on the earth, meaning that in atmosphere it's where rainfall comes from. Therefore, and it is also useful in our lives. Atmosphere is made of gases that are essential for photosynthesis and respiration, among other life activities, meaning that without atmosphere, plants, any other kind of vegetation cannot carry out photosynthesis processes as well. Therefore, because of having this atmosphere, plants, they are very easy to carry out their photosynthesis processes. Let's also look at the elements that are responsible for ozone layer destruction, or factors that may influence the ozone layer destruction. Number 1, chlorofluorocarbons. These chlorofluorocarbons can cause the destruction of ozone layer. Number 2, methane. Methane gas can also lead to ozone layer destruction. Number 3, carbon dioxide can also lead to ozone layer destruction. Number 3, water vapor can also lead to ozone layer destruction. Number 5, nitrous oxide also can lead to ozone layer destruction. Spray and other electrical appliances like refrigerator can also lead to ozone layer destruction. Let us see the effect of ozone layer depletion or ozone layer destruction. We are going to see that when ozone layer is destroyed, when ozone layer is damaged, we shall face with different consequences, or we shall face with different problems. For example, effects of ozone layer destruction on physical environment. Number 1, when ozone layer is destroyed, this will lead to the increase of temperature on the earth, result into melting of glacier, meaning that when ozone layer is destroyed, this will lead to the increase of temperature on the surface of the earth, which can cause the ices or glacier to melt. Number 2, it causes diseases like skin cancer. Destruction of ozone layer can lead to some diseases like skin cancer. Next, prolonged drought and global warming. This ozone layer can lead to prolonged drought and rise in sea level due to incoming melting water. When ozone layer is destroyed due to high temperature, there will be melting of ice, which can cause to high tides or rise in sea level. Next, due to the destruction of ozone layer, this can lead to the extinction of some plant and animal species. We shall miss some kinds of plant on the surface of the earth, and we shall also miss different animal species because of the ozone layer destruction. Next, Let's see the ways of protecting ozone layer. What can we do so that we can protect our ozone layer from destruction? Number one, afforestation program, planting trees. This can help us to keep our ozone layer from destruction. Next, man's activity should be controlled. There are some human activities that may lead to the pollution of atmosphere, and some man's activity which can lead to the destruction of vegetation, which is a serious problem to ozone layer destruction. When all those activities are controlled, this will help us to protect ozone layer from destruction. Next, limit private vehicles to driving. Limits private vehicle driving to reduce fumes, meaning that private vehicles must be abolished so that they can promote public vehicles, because public vehicles limit the number of vehicles in the roads, which can reduce fumes in the atmosphere. Next, use of eco-friendly household cleaning products. Next, avoid using pesticide. When we use pesticide, when we are protecting our crops from pests, this can be a serious problem that can lead to the pollution of atmosphere, which may lead to the destruction of ozone layer. All those are ways of protecting ozone layer. Let's see the role of ozone layer to living things. Ozone layer may play also different importance. Number one, to protect all living things on the earth from harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun, meaning that ozone layer reduce the amount of sunshine that may reach to the surface of the earth and cause a lot of destruction. Next, it absorbs a dangerous sun rays that can cause damage. So it is the atmosphere that absorb, that reduce the dangerous sun rays that can cause a lot of destruction on the surface of the earth. It also helps us in absorbing pollutants from the surface of the earth. All kinds of pollutants from the surface of the earth are held by the ozone layer. Therefore, this reduce this reduce amount of pollutants in the atmosphere. Let's also talk about weather forecasting. When you talk of weather forecasting, is the prediction of the condition of atmosphere for a given place for a certain period of time. Meaning that when you talk of weather forecasting, is a prediction, expectation of the condition of atmosphere. For example, people may expect that maybe tomorrow it will rain or it will shine too much. That activity of predicting, of expecting a certain condition of atmosphere by tomorrow or next tomorrow is referred to as weather forecasting. Briefly, or in small words, weather forecasting is the prediction of a condition of atmosphere of a given place in a certain period of time. Let's see traditional methods of weather forecasting. Traditional methods of weather forecasting include the following. Migration of butterfly indicates will rain. When people were looking at butterfly when they are moving from different places to other places, when it was in a dry season, people were expecting that rain is about to come. It means it will rain. Therefore, they would predict that the atmospheric condition without using modern instrument. Next, plant shading. plants shedding leaves indicate the period of drought. When people were looking at plants while shedding their leaves, they expect that rain is about, no, they expect dry season that is going to come. Therefore, they would predict without having the modern tools. Next, croaking of frogs during dry season indicates it is going to rain. When people they hear the voice of frogs while they are croaking, they expect that the rain is about to fall. Even if it was in a dry season, they expect that dry season is going to get an end. Next, flowering of certain plants. Flowering of certain plants indicate onset of rain. This when plants was about to having flowers, this indicates onset of rainfall. Change in the intensity of sunshine indicates going to rain. When people were looking at the change in sunshine, when sunshine reduced in its level, people were expecting that rain is about to fall. Therefore, those are traditional methods of weather forecasting. Let's look at the importance of weather forecasting to human activities. How weather forecasting are helpful. How are they significant to man's activity? Number one, we are going to see how weather forecasting are important. It enables military personnel to plan their military activities, meaning that it helps soldiers to plan their military activities. Next, it enables people to choose suitable clothing. So when people are expecting, for example, that it will rain by tomorrow, they are able to look for clothes that fit with the atmospheric condition of the next time. It guides people on sporting activities, meaning that this weather forecasting guides people on sporting activities, the time for sporting activities. Weather forecasting helps people to be aware of natural calamities to weather before they occur, so as to take precaution measures. Meaning that this weather and the climate, this weather forecasting help people to know or to be aware of the next coming natural calamities so that they could take measures before they happen. Next, guiding tourists on when to visit national park. When tourists know the atmospheric condition of the next time or next days, they are able to plan the time to visit that park. It helps farmers to plan their activities such as planting and harvesting, meaning that when farmers predict about atmospheric condition of tomorrow, they are able to plan their activities, to know the periods of planting, harvesting, etc. Next importance of weather forecasting. It ensures water and air transport is carried out safely. It means if you know the atmospheric condition of next time, you will be aware of what will take place at that time, meaning that you ensures whether your air and water transport will be carried out safely. Helps sport people plan training and competition schedules, meaning that if you know the atmospheric condition of tomorrow, you are able to plan training and competition about sport. It helps fishing community plan their activities, meaning that the weather forecasting helps people to plan their fishing activities. It helps also people to plan other activities such as mining, and hydroelectric power. Therefore, those are importance of weather forecasting. Importance or significance or benefits of weather forecasting. Next, let's look at the problems caused by thunderstorm. Problems caused by thunderstorm. When you talk of thunderstorm and lightning, let's look at the problem caused by thunderstorm and lightning. I think you know thunderstorm and lightning that can cause different problems. For example, problem number one, it has killed many people and animals. Thunderstorm can lead to the death of people and animals. Thunderstorm has also destroyed properties such as buildings and trees. Those are examples of what thunderstorm has destroyed as properties. Thunderstorm and lightning has also caused fires that may destroy vegetation, meaning that when it hits or beats, there must be fire, and this fire can lead to the destruction of vegetation. Thunderstorm and lightning has interrupted electricity that cause power failure, meaning that when thunderstorm and lightning takes place, there will be interruption of electricity, which may cause the failure of the power. Next, it has interrupted the communication. When there is too much thunderstorm and lightning, there can be interruption of communication. Let's see the measures that can be taken to combat thunderstorm. Measures number one, by educating people on precaution measures, that during the rain it is not allowed to have shelter under the trees, or it is not allowed to play games when it is raining. Therefore, that is measure number one. Educating people that is prohibited to have shelter under the tree or to play games during the rain. Next, by installing lightning arresters. When you talk of lightning arresters, those are things that are connected to cash power, so that lightning and thunderstorm will not beat your house. By launching sound rockets with electronic sensors in the thunderstorm prone areas. Next, by spraying silver iodide in the atmosphere so that it can disperse the clouds. This will help people to protect themselves from thunderstorm. Those are measures, those are ways that everybody can use, can put in place, or can take in order to combat the thunderstorm and lightning effects. Thank you. I would like to remind you that you have to subscribe, to give comment on this Keep on Learning TV, so that we can improve our studies on this channel called Keep on Learning TV. Have a nice time.